Okay, please go ahead.
Ruth Yeoman, Royal Holloway, University of London. This is a speculative proposal. To what extent may the implementation of human rights depend upon reframing corporations as a type of demos that is not only as constituting an economic association, but also a political association where an internal respect for human rights generates pressure for an external respect for human rights. So an internal culture of respect for human rights in a demos constructed within a corporation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next one, please.
Samira Yusuf, Coda International. First of all, I wanted to thank every one of the speakers. I thought it was a very, very interesting and insightful contribution from each one of you. I was wondering how much research or consultation has been conducted in order to explore the role of traditional structures such as the councils of elders or the chiefdoms in Africa and in Latin America, and the role that these structures could have in actually reinforcing better government controls and better corporate practice towards achieving, let's say, less abuses, if not eradicating abuses of the indigenous population in the areas.
Thank you very much. Next one.
My name is Sam Zarifah. I'm the director of Amnesty International's work in Asia and the Pacific, and as my title would suggest, I'm obsessed with Asia and the Pacific. And let me challenge and ask the panel briefly for what seemed to me a very 20th century presentation, looking ahead at the next 5 years at a time when Pacific Rim trade is larger than the Atlantic trade. The question that I have for you is, what about the Asian companies? Peter Frankenthal has mentioned Amnesty International's work in India, working on Vedanta, a FTSE company, but behind it is a Korean company who is also running mining operations. How can we reach those companies? How can we use legal mechanisms? How can we use the Ruggie framework to reach out to the Korean, Malaysian companies, and behind them, of course, the behemoth of China, with which we have a very difficult time engaging at all?
Thank you.
My name is Zainab Miftah from Middlesex University, postgraduate student. Thank you for this event. It is really fantastic for my research. But I have some comments about Arabian Gulf. I don't see anything about research in Arabian Gulf. What is your comment about these countries which have huge of migration and abusing of these workers? Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Very good. I think we've got 3 more. Then we'll ask the panel to respond as they wish. Thank you. Good evening. Marian McGowan, Middlesex University Business School. A lot of Middlesex going on.
Indeed, indeed. A lot of, I'd just like to say, first of all, we're very grateful to the Centre for Business and Human Rights, or the Centre for Human Rights Resource Centre, and Chris and his team for all their help in helping us to develop our Masters in Business and Human Rights. However, I would like to make a comment in relation to what Abiola said, and I would like to affirm that very strongly. Recently, we have been involved in a project in Angola, Namibia, and South Africa in relation to the shared waters between the 3 countries, the shared fisheries area, their mining, oil and gas. These countries are now sitting down around the table trying to work out solutions, how they can work collaboratively. However, what struck me was speaking to the University of Namibia, the University of Angola, how keen they are and passionate they are to find mechanisms and materials to pass on to their students, because the demand exists. And my plea is to anybody here tonight who has influence to look at this issue and to provide the higher education networks in the emerging markets with the materials that these very keen, very brilliant young people are looking for.
Thank you very much indeed. Yes, please.
My name is Karim Sultani from Oxford University. Iran was mentioned, and I'm very much involved in trying to get individual culprits sanctioned, and you probably know that 8 of them have recently been sanctioned, and we found in our experience that that is the sort of thing that really frightens government officials who do engage in egregious violations of human rights. The next thing that worries them is the bank accounts. Swiss bank accounts. Recently we found Malaysian bank accounts. Michael earlier referred to some of the steps that are taken regarding bribery. That's the area that I very much need, rather desperately, some light thrown on the direction in the next 5 years where it's going to go. Because some of these people have got suitcases packed, ready to leave. And come the day, which is not going to be too far, when the current Iranian regime, and I don't think maybe the companies deserve that regime, but I don't think the people of Iran deserve that regime somehow. Come that day, it would be very nice to know that their bank accounts, when they arrive, are actually frozen. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we've got 2 more, have we? Please. Then we'll stop at that and give the panel a chance to come back.
Good evening. My name is Rushe, and I work for STR Responsible Sourcing. I have a very quick question regarding human rights impact assessments. I was wondering if you saw them being on the horizon over the next 5 years. I'm thinking of the tool that has been developed by the Danish Institute for Human Rights, for example. Thank you.
Thank you. And the final one, to the moment.
Hi, Simon Clarke from Bloomberg News. I have a question for Sir Mark. I have a question in relation to human rights and London's role as a centre of business and finance in the world. In the last year, I've reported on Barclays, Lazard, Goldman bankers talking about finances in church. I've heard the head of HSBC saying Margaret Thatcher was wrong about there not being any such thing as society, and countless other surprising statements from senior bankers and business executives. And now I see a former executive of Shell sitting alongside a founder of Global Witness. What's going on? Is this the biggest whitewash in the history of business and finance? Or this is an elaborate response to the financial crisis? What's going on in relation to London as a centre of business and finance?